Chris Farmer here with Coach Tom Izzo, and Coach, here we are at your shootout. And with all the talk right now with football, satellite camps, and this and that, I want to put an interesting spin on it. What if basketball went with the satellite camp route? How would that work?
Basketball's got so many things going. If football's headed that way, I think they're in a little bit of trouble personally, because there's just so many things. These kids never get a break, and coaches don't get a break. So, you know, I still struggle with what's best for everybody, and there's one thing I've come up with. You know, everybody worries about the 20-hour week for in season in basketball, and yet these kids are playing sometimes 5, 6, 7 games on a weekend at some of these camps all around the country. So I don't know where football's going, but my advice is be careful.
NBA Finals, we caught you in the house for Game 4, sitting next to Dickie V. Did you get a word in edgewise sitting next to Mr. Vitale, and how did that go? You got to take your whole family with you down there and taking the game as a fan for once.
Yeah, it was fun. You know, it was fun to go there. A little bit difficult because you got Dan Gilbert and his group, and love Dan and all he's done and what he does for Michigan State, and then you got Draymond, and you know, it just was an interesting situation. And then of course when Golden State won, it looked like they might wrap it up, and sure enough, a couple days later, you know, you got to give a lot of credit to Cleveland. LeBron was unbelievable. He's been unbelievable the last 2 games. We'll see what happens in Game 7.
Can you elaborate on that, Coach? This finals had some blowout games, some crazy momentum swings in the series.
Yeah, I'd say more blowout games, a lot of blowout games. And the whole NBA has been a lot of blowout games this year as far as the playoffs. I don't know why. There just hasn't been many close, good games. And that's kind of mind-boggling to me when you get the best teams. But, you know, here we have a Game 7 with 2 of the best teams, and that's what everybody's looking for.
The Swiss Army knife for the NBA, Draymond Green, one of Mr. Versatility out there, has had some controversial moments here in the playoffs. Maybe he's gotten, people thinking he's a dirty player, this and that. What's your take on this right now with Draymond, the controversy out there in the playoffs?
Well, Draymond's a great kid. He's not a dirty player. He's a very passionate player, and has always had passion, and always lived on the edge a little bit. But you know, the Oklahoma City series got a little bit crazy both ways, and I think, as he stated, you know, maybe it got a little bit too close to the edge. But that last exchange, if whatever it was, with him and LeBron, I mean, I thought that was very incidental in a lot of ways, and I was disappointed in that. But you know, he understood that he put himself in a position too, and he'll work his way through it. I think you'll see a big game out of Draymond on Sunday night, and they're going to need a big game out of him if they plan on winning the championship.
Coach, what are the keys to Game 7 coming up, and do you have a prediction for me?
Well, if I had a prediction, it wouldn't work so well, because I haven't predicted anything right in this series the way it's gone, the blowouts and everything else. But you know, I think the keys are they got to rebound better, they got to play better in the interior, and can't let Cleveland get layups. So I think Cleveland's got to make sure they find Curry and Thompson and don't let them become 3-point targets. You know, that seems to be the difference right now. LeBron is playing physical, taking the ball to the basket, is hitting some jump shots. Kyrie's hitting some shots, but he's taking the ball to the basket. On the other side of it, you know, I don't think the Warriors have defended like they have for the last 2 years, and people are getting by them too easy. Some of that was when Draymond was out, and it's also a factor when Draymond has to play center a lot. Now he's not guarding forwards, which he can switch on and things, and that's created a little bit of a problem. So the Bogut losses hurt him. Who knows what Iguodala is doing right now with his back. A lot of factors in this thing, and the prediction will be, I think this will be a game that goes right down to the wire.
Your colleague John Calipari came out with a statement last week saying basketball is becoming a positionless sport. Can you talk about that?
I think he's right a little bit. You know, first of all, nobody wants to be a center. That's illegal. So nobody wants to call themselves a center. At the same time, it seems like, you know, Golden State is kind of the example of that with a bunch of guys that play. But I'd say for the most part, most teams have a center and a point guard and then three guys that can just play no matter what the position is. So he's got that half to three-quarters correct.
Coach, here we are again. I look at the schedule and I say, my goodness, the November gauntlet that you have coming up, New York, Hawaii, you're down at Duke, you play at the Battle for Atlantis. Are you playing the Celtics or Lakers or Bulls in that November as well? Can you elaborate on your schedule here, Coach?
Well, when you look at it, and you know, Duke and Kentucky are ranked 1, 2 in just about every poll, and I think Louisville's ranked 9th. We could play them in the Bahamas, and Arizona's ranked 12th, 13th in most polls. You know, we've got ourselves, you know, maybe the most brutal schedule we've had, and because we still have an Indiana and Purdue's, or Wisconsin's are ranked in the top 10, 11, 12, so we could play 7, 8 games, but in that early session we could play 4 or 5 top 12 teams, and when you do that with a young team, we could be in trouble early, but it's going to, I think, help us in the end, and it's no different than most, but when you made the schedule, you thought for sure Deontay would be here, and it's not, but I'm not going to complain about it. It's what's made this program great, and so it'll be a good mountain to climb.
You got your most heralded recruiting class in your time here at Michigan State. With the transition of Denzel heading off to the NBA and 2 other great senior players, what are you looking forward most to coaching this young squad here? And what would some say a transition year for Michigan State?
Yeah, transition year, and everybody's got us picked in the top 15, so that means your program's arrived, and you know, it's our job to live up to that. But you're right. I mean, you know, it's just a lot of unknowns when you do this. I mean, it's a great recruiting class, but it's not a Kentucky's that is too deep at every position. So we're going to have our hands full and our work cut out, and how we handle some adversity or a loss here or there is going to determine how we do. But the exciting part is, you know, you got some talented kids. You got to blend them together with some juniors and seniors, and I think it's going to be a fun experience. I think they're all great kids. They work hard. I think you got a little bit of something in everybody. With Cassius, you got maybe one of the best passing guards that I've seen in a while. Josh Langford is a guy that is versatile, can play 2-3 positions. Miles Bridges is, you know, a strong, tough, athletic kid who can score in a variety of different ways. And, you know, you even take a guy like Nick Ward, is kind of a poor man's Zach Randolph. Now he's left-handed, he can score around the basket. He's brute strength. He's going to have to work on his defense and things. So it's going to be putting that whole group together that's going to be fun.
That's Coach Izzo. Thanks, Coach.